Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of A Knight's Ransom. When we last left this rather intrepid party of adventurers, they had just reached the city of Arcala, where they were introduced to the, reputation of one particular knight lieutenant whose virtues were extolled at length to Sasha. And they did catch sight of the other one, although they haven't heard too much about him yet. Of course, we always like to start by thanking our sponsor, D&D Beyond. That is D, the letter N, dbeyond.com, a wonderful repository for everything 5e. So, it's the next morning, and the soldiers have drank themselves into oblivion before heading back to their barracks for the night. You have found yourselves 2 rooms to split between the 6 of you, and places in the stable for your horses while you stay here in town. Party. It's dawn on the morning of the first day. What are you doing?
Kitchen's up bright and early. He's gonna go help out in the kitchen if they'll take him.
Okay.
Just a little practice, you know.
You are welcomed with confusion.
Even just doing dishes, he's happy.
You're welcomed with confusion, mostly because they've never had somebody who stayed that wanted to then work in the kitchen the next morning.
Just for the practice of it. Nothing, permanent.
Quick question.
Quick answer.
Did we get our rooms at the Morning Blossom Inn? Is that where we stayed? Okay.
Yes. Unless you chose to go somewhere else, in specific as to, I don't know, go home with one of the soldiers back to the barracks and be surrounded by a bunch of other people.
No, we said we decided to spend the night at the inn. That's was in my notes.
Just making sure I'm orienting myself properly. That's just me. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Continue, kitchen.
Okay.
All good. Well, if you're sure, Jamie's not gonna open up to patrons who didn't stay the night until midday. Something about not wanting people to be drunk off their ass all day or something.
Fair enough, but there's always meal prep to be doing, and
yeah. How are you with chopping things?
Quite good.
Well, here, and you are slid a large basket full of vegetables to be prepped and cut into sizes appropriate for, like, stew.
I'll have it done in an hour.
And he leaves you to it.
I'm sure Kitchen and I bunked together as far as accommodations went.
I mean, by bunk, do you mean the floor?
Yes. We shared the space.
Who else shared the space with the 2?
Honestly, I probably
don't sleep?
I only need half sleep, so.
Okay. So it was Sasha, Kitchen, and Orion.
Sasha meditating on the bed, and Kitchen and Orion
in
just
full armor,
sitting on the floor, just staring at the wall.
Yeah. And then we had Fred, Karasef, and Monric in another room. I almost said Carapesh again, and I was like, that's not right. That was a different character he pitched to me.
Carapesh? No.
Was that not your warlock?
Nope.
Oh.
I don't remember what his name was, but Carapesh wasn't it.
I don't know where I'm getting the name
in. Depending on what Sasha is doing for the morning, I would either have followed Kitchen and just be kind of like observing from the bar, or what is Sasha doing this morning?
Probably nothing really. Checking armor, making sure everything is well in place and in good condition still. Double checking if I need to make a pit stop to get it checked off. Checking weapons very quickly. And then otherwise I'm consistently a growing boy, so anything that has to put food in front of me, I'm here for it. Hearing Kitchen say he's going to go down to the kitchen would probably pique my interest very quickly. I'm going to go to the kitchen. They serving breakfast yet?
Usually pretty close to now.
I'm going to go get breakfast then.
Lovely. Let's head downstairs. And I'm just gonna kind of, if Sasha heads to a table, I'll sit at a table with Sasha and just kind of watch the room, I guess, for now.
Okay.
Sasha sitting there with like a fork and a knife.
No. I am a polite boy, thank you. I will wait.
It doesn't take long after you it doesn't take long after you get down there for somebody to bring out a oh god. A plate of breakfast, although it has two different you have two different versions, I guess. If you're choosing to follow a more vegetarian lifestyle, it's porridge, fresh fruit, and the like. And then if you choose to be more of a carnivore, well, there is sausage and bacon and back bacon, so like the good like
Ooh.
female bacon.
Well, I will be a vegetarian if there are vegetarian options in front of me, and I will be a carnivore if there are carnivore
Well, there's
options
both.
in front of me.
So if you're taking both, you're
One of
taking
each.
both, and that's okay. But they don't know. Like, they're just bringing it out and offering it, and if you say both, they will just set both plates down in front of you and then go back to the kitchen.
I thought they were just placing them down in front of us, and I was like, all right, food.
Well, they offer because, again, like, this is your first day here. So, basically, if Fred were to come down and order the vegetarian-style breakfast, then the next day they wouldn't ask. They would just bring a vegetarian
Oh.
breakfast. Because they remember that you were there before and that's what you had last time. But because they don't know.
Service. They get a good tip.
I'm just gonna kind of look at whoever walked over and go, he can have whatever my portion is.
Is Sasha asking for both?
I mean, I don't see why not. To be honest, I'd look at it and I'd be like, I don't mind either of them. They're both okay in my books, and not realizing there was like a choice, and also not wanting to be rude and just be like, never that one. No, I wouldn't do that. So I'd just be like, either is fine.
How dare you? This is the food my food eats.
Okay, just to make this easy, just to make my life easy,
Flip a
because
coin.
Sasha is such a fucking good boy, he apparently can't
Both.
make
I
decisions.
rolled 2 twos, so it's fine. Both.
I was about to say, because you're apparently such a good boy, you can't make decisions.
I can make
order,
decisions. It just wasn't necessary.
You order the one that's filled with meat, and the one with fruit is set down in front of Orion, and Orion just pushes the one with fruit over in front of Sasha.
Oh. You're sure? You don't want to eat?
I'm good.
You'll have to eat at some point, right? How will you keep your strength up?
By existing. I say it with a smile, but there is no facial expression on the porcelain face, so it's just the voice.
You don't need to eat?
No. Not
Well, I'm not one to pry. I don't question that. Wait, I need to ask Maddie something.
Is this a thing that you're DMing me?
Yes.
Okay.
well, while you do that, my response would simply be, I haven't had to eat since I've gained this form. And that's really that's the answer you get.
May I ask one question, if it's not much to pry? And like, I'll lean over a little bit of the table a bit more, and that way I'm not saying it like super loud. Do you not eat because you intake another type of food along the varieties of blood?
Orion will very obviously like scoot over with like their elbow on the table. No. But why do you ask?
Oh, I
And
know
you,
of
and you see them pull a book out and like
I know of creatures that sustain themselves on it. I was just curious if that was something you needed, but if it's not.
no, these days I guess you could say I'm sustained by Hephaestus's will.
Oh. Well, be it the will of the gods, it is the will of the gods.
You're not one of those who indulges in needing blood, are you? You
No,
seem
absolutely not.
very keen on being out of the light.
Oh, the armor. Kind of like ting my hand against the chest piece. No.
Okay, good. The last one we found was very, very rude.
Came across a vampire. Where?
A temple that we had to clear on our way out here.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry I couldn't be there to assist.
Yeah, apparently it had gone mad.
Well, hopefully we don't come across any more of them. Quite brutish. Little egotistical most of the times. Really does depend.
I think I have some notes on it somewhere, and you'll see them just start flipping through their book looking for what little notes Calix would let me take of the situation.
May I read?
You can try. What languages do you know? And I'll just kind of flip to the proper section of the book and slide it over.
I'm just gonna bring this up. Elven, Common, Celestial, and Dwarvish.
You would understand the Common and Elven, but much like a multilingual person, it's written in all of the languages, just using whatever word fits best in my brain.
Yeah, maybe you can read it to me later.
Sure. And I'll just start telling you what's on the page. And while that's happening, we can see what the rest of the party's doing.
Yeah, for the three that are in the room that actually needed sleep. What are you doing?
Yeah, team sleep.
We got team no sleep and one meditation, and then we've got team that actually needs to fucking sleep.
Weak.
Well, Monric's gonna get up and do some calisthenics. and then go downstairs for food.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab a plate of meat and find a private place to eat it.
Okay. Fred?
Fred's got up at dawn and she's gone out to the Temple of Aphrodite, if there is one, to do a little bit of meditation, and then back to the inn to have breakfast.
The Temple of Aphrodite seems to be fairly slow given how early in the morning it is, but you are still able to participate in the worship with those that are there.
Mhm.
They even make sure to restock your kit in case you need it. But you come back and are offered the same choice: a breakfast full of meat or a breakfast that is a more vegetarian styled meal.
I don't like eating my trees. I will eat the meat, please.
Okay. Although to be fair, it's like the stuff that grows on the trees and not the
I
trees
know.
themselves. But all right. Once breakfast has been consumed, party, you gather up once again. Uh, Kitchen, you were very, very successful in your hours worth of chopping vegetables to be prepared for the stew. Matter of fact, as Jamie flits in on his gossamer wings, he offers for you that night have one of the more expensive drinks on the house.
That's very kind of you. I don't tend to drink much
Well, now I
of
promise
anything.
that it'll be something you're going to enjoy. And while I know that you don't necessarily need to consume anything to sustain yourself, I know what you are. I've seen your kind before.
I
This,
make no attempt to hide what I
no, of
am.
course not. But many people wouldn't understand. You'd Come on, Jamie, you've got a southern accent, can you not? My god.
Well, yeehaw, partner! I'll take that
Well,
shot.
God, this is fucking Cassie all over again. Um,
Our fairy is having an identity crisis.
the DM is having an identity crisis.
When you play
Um,
all these characters and all the voices, it's really easy to mess them up. Huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how she does it.
So hey, I'm Kitchen.
Oh God.
No, please not, Stuart. Not here.
I
This
said
world
kitchen.
couldn't handle it.
I'd like to roll for chaos as Stuart. What? No!
I kind of miss being the little chaos god.
Okay. I can guarantee that whatever you I can guarantee that drinking this is going to give you the feeling of being entirely euphoric.
Even as a construct?
Yes, sir.
I'll give it a go.
Excellent. When you come back to the tavern tonight, you come up to the bar and I will get you that drink.
Could I take maybe is it a full drink or is it a shot?
It'll be a shot.
Okay. All right, I was going to see if
A
any of
full
my
drink of that, uh, even as a construct, might kill you.
I will skip a full drink. I just wanted to see if I could share it with people, but I'll stick with the shot and just relay
Well,
everything to Orion and he'll write it down.
your friends were nice enough not to get involved in any of those bar fights that happened between those dumbass soldiers last night. And you were very kind in helping out this morning.
Oh, it's like meditation for me.
So I don't see, assuming that they are willing to take the shot given the explanation, I don't see why they wouldn't be allowed to partake of your earnings.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so appreciative of this. This is going to be fun.
And he just kind of like, of course he's flying because he's a fairy. And he just reaches up and just gently pats you on the cheek. And it is like the lightest touch you've ever felt, because, I mean, his hand is super small. But you're pretty sure that if push came to shove, Jamie could probably knock you on your ass.
Well, thank you very much, but we've got things to do, and we'll see you later.
Well, best of luck. And of course, your horses will be safe here with me and my staff.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Best of luck. Okay, party, you are once again together, having eaten and sustained yourselves for breakfast. What's the plan? Please do not turn this into a plan that involves war crimes.
You know, I feel like our odds of war crimes have gone down recently.
Really? Interesting. Is that because you got rid of Calyx?
They didn't get rid of Calyx. Calyx got rid of himself, okay?
So,
Apologies. Is that because Calyx left? Is that why your possibility of war crimes is decreased?
all I'm
Listen.
saying is I look forward to coming into a town at some point and hearing about serial fires that have just been going off in towns.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There was also like the moral question of having a robot dog going around tearing people's throats out. Like, I don't know how comfortable I'd be with that.
Who knows?
I wish the best for Artax wherever he may be. Last we
Yes.
saw
And
in
Eugen.
pieces.
We can hope that Eugen has repaired him already.
Well, I have far more worry about Artax being in pieces than Eugen being in pieces, because that's a bigger problem. I think Eugen can take care of themselves.
If Eugen's in pieces,
So how are
there's
we
no
going?
getting our tax back?
How are we going to be the vanguard? What are we supposed to do?
Ryan will hold up their book. I think at least the wording they used is clear the path. So we may have to discuss with the two knight lieutenants here to make sure the gates will be open when they come through. That may end up with us having to do favors to do so, but probably talking with them would be our best starting point.
So we should head to the barracks then.
I'm sorry, is my
Head to
camera
the
freaking
key.
out for anybody else?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you turn on and off the green screen thing in the filter, it should fix itself.
I don't know, man. Your hair looks good.
There you go.
There we go. All right.
He is a druid.
That was kind of funny.
Unless there's anything else we need to do in town beforehand.
I think we should find out. They're only 2 weeks behind us, right?
Mm-hmm. I think someone pointed out last night, Orion would remember, but I would not, that we saw the one knight heading into
Well, it was
the
me. I saw it.
Temple of Persephone. I think it was Carthus? Sorry, Sir Carthus, and I'll kind of look around. We have a few different ways we could proceed.
Actually, you were talking to them about the other knight lieutenant, Sir Jarvan the Hammer. Would he be the one to approach, or should we do Sir Carthus first?
I'm all for meeting the hammer.
Well, should we start with the barracks then?
Sounds like a plan
Would
to
they
me.
be in the barracks or in the keep?
Hmm.
The commanders don't generally stay in the barracks.
You would know more than I. At the very least, the barracks
Well,
could tell us where they frequent.
yes. And they certainly would stop by the barracks to gather reports from the men and such. So it's not a bad choice.
Okay. Shall we head out?
Ooh, we slept. I gotta do my rolls for the day. But yes.
Okay. So the plan is to head to the barracks, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You set out for the barracks. It is clear that we are now on the you are now at the change of the guard. Um you you notice that a lot of the guys in gold and red armor are showing up now. And the ones that were in silver and black are starting to head into the barracks. I need the party to give me a perception check. Please and thanks.
20. Dirty, though.
12.
Perception.
18.
And
Was that an 18, Q?
Yes, 13 plus 5.
Okay. Kitchen Fred and Sasha, the three of you notice turning down a side street is a tall man in ostentatious red and gold armor with a flowing red cape, a slightly shorter figure that is hurrying after him in plainer gold armor with a red cape, and a selection of what looks to be higher knights following behind them. In addition to this, you see the same tall, lanky figure that you had seen the night before going into the Temple of Demeter and Persephone. And he is heading into the barracks.
Well, I think we missed the hammer. I think that's him going out around the corner.
well, do we chase him down or do we talk with the other commander?
Well, the other commander's here. We should probably start with him then, if he's not too tired.
Well, he's just
All right.
starting, right? Yeah, Karth is just getting there. Right, Maddie?
Well, Karthus is heading into the barracks.
Yeah, to like start.
No, to
Oh, okay.
No,
he's ending his day.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the way it sounded, it's like finished, left kind of thing. Sorry.
No, Jarvin and them are starting their day, and they are headed out to the town and be
Okay.
out and about.
So, do we want to catch Jarvin at the start of their day?
Well, I'm sure if he's starting, we could find him while he's out on watch. Meanwhile, Karthus is just finishing, and he's here. I'm sure as long as we're
Well,
not...
Grab Carthus since he's here.
was going to approach one of the knights or one of the soldiers and ask, would Sir Carthus be willing to grant us an audience?
Oh, you got a coin, Mom? Somebody got a
Yeah.
coin?
Yeah.
What do you
What do
need?
you What do you need?
Okay. Heads, the soldier is dressed in red and gold. Tails, the soldier is dressed in black and silver.
Hey, Google.
Okay. This
Flip a
die has
coin.
a 1 and a 2 on it, so 1 is heads, 2 is tails.
One,
I got tails.
1 is gold, 2 is silver. You
I got tails.
Ken?
I asked Google.
Yep. I also got tails.
Okay, so you do grab one of Carthus's men. He looks at you for a moment, shoves his visor up his face. Although you notice that the way that his visor sits, his face is completely shadowed and shaded from the sun. His skin is dark. Definitely not like any other elf you've seen thus far, with the exception of Carthus. Although, that's not quite true, because you know specifically that the royal family of Farah look like this as well. Although they're a little bit lighter because their father was a human. But the queen is the same color as this guy. You know that these are commonly called ranger elves. Although in the D&D verse, we know them as drow. But I don't like the connotations that are associated with drow, so they're ranger elves. Let me get his squire. Just come stand in the courtyard and stay out of Jarvan's men's way.
Thank you.
He pulls his visor back down and then heads off towards the barracks, calling after a name that you... Wait, does Fred speak Elvish?
I don't remember. Hang on.
I certainly do.
Yes.
I know.
Do,
Okay,
Yes.
hang on. Please hold.
do all of us speak Elvish?
I think
No,
maybe.
I
Everybody
do
in this
not.
party speak Elvish?
Common and Tandric, Elvish, Celestial, Draconic.
Does Kitchen know Elvish?
He does indeed.
Does Karasef know Elvish?
Yes.
Is Monric the only one who doesn't know how to speak Elvish in the party?
Yes.
Quick,
Speak
everyone
common
talk
and
shit.
dwarven.
Now I'm curious.
Cody,
You've
get
got
out.
What'd you say? Common and Dwarven, Monric?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay. I can talk shit with you in Dwarvish to everyone. It's fine.
You hear him call after the, You hear him call after the squire by the name of Reuven, stating that there is a group that wishes to speak to the knight lieutenant.
Reuben?
Reuven, R-U-V-E-N.
Ooh, I was close.
Please bear with me. I gotta make notes on this character that I just made up because people are starting to ask.
What's your favorite color? Question 1.
Green?
What is your quest?
To find the Holy Grail.
Alright. As you wait, a young elven man dressed in leather armor comes out. His head is covered in a cowl, but you can see his face and he can see out. He has got white hair to match up against his skin. And he is as dark-skinned as the soldier you would talk to.
So ranger elf, white hair.
Yeah, he is also a ranger elf.
Okay.
Ranger elves typically have very light blonde to silver to white hair. Yay, genetics. He gives you a bow, not so low as if you guys are royalty, but enough that it is respectful. It is my
return
pleasure.
the bow.
It is my pleasure to welcome you to our fine city of Arcala. The Knight Lieutenant will be with you in just a few moments. He is currently changing out of his armor into something more comfortable to meet with you. Could I perhaps ask and inquire as to what your task is here, that you require his aid?
Hi. My name is Fred, and these are my friends. This is Orion, and Sasha, and Monric, Kitchen, and Karasef. Um,
I
It's her
So proud of
words.
you, Mom! So proud of you.
And we don't want to say too much, but we do aware that there is somebody missing, and we are have messages from Yeast.
Huh. Of course. If you'll follow me.
Sure.
He leads you. Hold on, I gotta pull up my combat map for this because I, quite frankly, don't remember how I had this set up. This is not. You are not getting into combat. It's so that I can describe what this place looks like.
This ranger pulls us into the building and attacks.
No. No. It is literally just I need to remember how I have this place set up. Because again, Roll20 decided it was the one thing it wasn't gonna pull was all of the information on this place.
Sure. While you're pulling that up, the person that came up to us was Reuven. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, it was. He leads you up a set of stairs, two flights of stairs, and you come out in what seems to be the knight's it seems to be the knight's eating area. There's not enough not enough tables for all of the soldiers that are housed here in Arcala, but there's definitely enough tables and chairs for the amount of knights and knight lieutenants that are here. And he bids you wait at one of the tables. It does not matter which you choose to sit at as long as it's not the head table. The head table has two ornate chairs seated at next to each other with two smaller chairs on next to them. These clearly belong to the two knight lieutenants and their squires. And as you wait, down a flight of stairs, enters the man who is going to meet you. Dressed down in a significantly more comfortable outfit than the armor you have seen him in previously, is a long, white-haired elf with two swords strapped to his hips, even though he is out of his armor. And he takes a seat in the chair that is slightly less ornate than the other. He settles in at the table, and he looks tired, as if it's been a long night. Please, tell me what it is that I can assist you with. Dusk comes very early. during the winter.
I think I can help with that. I will approach him at his table, give a bow, rummage in my bag, and hand him the writ we were given for what we're doing.
You are handing him the orders that basically state you are here to clear the way for the army that's coming. Yes?
Unless anyone says something before doing so, that's what we were told to do coming here. Like,
Would we have reason to believe that
We're
we
clearing
shouldn't tell them?
Are we in the other country already? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in our
Yes,
call
you
out.
are.
Yeah.
oh, we're a different country. Never mind.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
If you look at the world map, the black lines that are on the map, those are the country divide, like the country divisions. Arcala belongs to Picity.
Okay. I revise what I'm
That gets a
doing
little better
because I did not
Hey.
realize we were crossing country lines there.
Thanks for the pass there.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We are actually looking for some people that have gone missing from Yeast. Yeast. There's no T.
I was gonna say, Mom, there's no T in that name.
it's yes.
They make very lovely
Yes.
bread.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, good God. All right. I am also
could
going to
just-
rename that town because apparently we're just not going to pronounce that. Anyway, moving on. I get bullied into culture. I'm getting bullied into renaming my cities.
You're lucky it just doesn't have an A instead of an E because it would have been a yes.
Yeah.
That's
Woo!
like the greeting in the town is just
I like
Local
that a lot.
culture.
everybody says hi to everybody. Just good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Oh, I
Yes.
have such a headache now. Thanks.
You're welcome. Whew. Oh God.
We need to start a
Okay.
fad in yeast.
You change the name, I'll take it and I'll do it in one of my stuff or something. Except I'll do the A instead of the E. Make it different.
I'll just rename it. Moving on. So, Karthus is waiting for you to tell him what the fuck you're doing in his city that requires you to have his attention.
Uh-huh.
We are in search of some rather important people that have gone missing. And we're hoping you might have some information.
Really? This is what you're preventing me from meditating for. Is a missing person.
It
Also,
could be a matter. You go ahead.
A missing person that could lead to potential conflict.
How do you feel about the way things have gone here? You
Here as
been
in Picity or here as in this town?
this town. I heard from some new guards about the new general in town, and it's been all raving reviews. But I mean,
Sure. Raving reviews.
well, it was from a gentleman that wore the same colors. Everybody has their biased opinions.
There's biased opinion, and then there's those who are just drinking the ale.
so are you not a fan of the new lieutenant?
No. No, I'm not a fan of my companion knight lieutenant. He is a man who will not shut his fucking mouth. Constantly runs his mouth. Never stops. And you know, the worst part is that 90% of the time, he can back up everything he says. And so
Would
you
that not
can't
make it
reproach
fact?
him about it.
So he's overpowering you in a way?
No, we have an equal number of forces here.
Oh.
However, the problem is that he likes to run around and play the nice guy, leaving me to deal with all of the hard decisions in town, which makes me the bad guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? I spend
Then
most of my night in the Temple of Athena, dealing with rulings for the town and murder trials.
I'll take a step closer. Hands are like definitely like off to my sides. You say Athena, but I saw you go into Demeter and Aphrodite's temple the other night. We were
Nope,
looking
Demeter and Persephone.
Persephone. Whoops. Sorry. I was thinking Aphrodite earlier. That's my bad.
Sorry.
It's okay. No, it's all good. It's Demeter and Persephone. They share a temple.
Demeter and Persephone. And I'm not saying that we were following you or anything. We just come into town and we were looking for the lieutenants, and I didn't realize it was you until I see you now.
Do you know who the goddess Persephone is married to?
Of course.
He doesn't have a temple here. Would you like to know what happened to it?
I can have a suspicion of it.
Jarvan turned it into a temple of Eros and Ares.
He overthrew another. That's
Yes.
not right.
No, it's not. Now, you didn't come here to listen to my gripes about my fellow knight lieutenant. You're looking for a missing person. Unless you give me a description of said missing person, I can't help you.
I will now approach and bow. And flip to the page in my book that is not describing the main person we're looking for, but the other person that may be accompanying them.
So, the description of Virgil Kessington.
And I will start giving a general description of them.
As you're describing it, you watch Karthus's face look curious, confused, and then a light goes on. That sounds a lot like Sir Kessington.
I mean, we were approached by a lovely lady in town who was missing her husband, and we were coming this way anyway, so we agreed to look into it.
Why is he lost in our lands?
Lost?
I have no
don't-
idea.
We don't believe he's lost. We believe he's been here against his will.
So he was kidnapped.
Simple way to put it.
We don't have a lot of information.
We're not sure. We're just going on what we're looking for.
You want to roll me a deception check there, Fred?
Not lying.
No, you kind of are, because you know exactly what happened to him. Please hold while I load Karthus' sheet.
I have something to say after this, depending on what his
Yep.
is.
Somebody tell me what insight is off of.
Insight is off of wisdom.
Thank you. He narrows his eyes at you, and doesn't quite believe you, but everything you said thus far seems to make sense, so he doesn't refute it. Sasha?
Are you
Go ahead. I'll let you say something. Good. I want to see where the conversation goes, because if I'm nothing but a persuasion boy.
are you aware of people coming through here that may not be on the proper side of the law?
That sounds
wouldn't
like
want
a
to
very
accuse.
vague question, considering the fact that every city from Silver Summit to Quo to Watandi all have their own sects.
I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. I don't really part of this. I'm just with the group to help. I sometimes fumble my words. You seem to know Sir Virgil Kensington. Have you seen or heard of him in the area? Please forgive me. I don't mean to bother you too much here. I know have had a long night.
Is Maddie frozen?
I think so.
I think so.
That or
I was
very
like, she's really deep in thought. There she goes.
There she goes.
Oh.
I was like, oh shit, Nancy really pissed her off. And you kept trying to backpedal it too to a
Cameras are all sorts of fun right now.
Oh, are they ever?
well. Please
No, you
disregard.
stay until she comes back in.
Yeah, just keep backpedaling. Oh, me not speaking to common?
Well, please
Common, not first
disregard
language.
the overlay for now. Anyone who's watching, as soon as Maddie re-enters the call, we will get everyone resituated.
She's completely offline. Do you want to go to break very quick?
Yeah.
And I will give her a call and I will see what's up.
Oh, there she is.
She's just not in Discord. There she is.
There we go.
So sorry about that. My internet dropped.
No worries.
I just thought you were really deep in thought. I was like, damn, she about to retread for Phil.
Nope. My internet just decided to shit the bed. What was the last thing you heard me say? Also, if that shit happens again, text me, because it was probably my internet.
Okay. I was actually just about to call you, so you just beat me too.
I was saying, said I'm
Backpedaling
bubbling my
super hard.
number. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. I'm just, you seem to know what Sir Virgil looks like. Have you heard of anything? Have you seen him? And I really hate to bother you because I know you've had a very rough night.
Well, see, you had asked him if there was anybody who seemed illegal running through the town, and his reply was,
yes,
there are various sections of the Knights, or the Ambassadors of Night, through
That's why
every
you
single
said sect.
town. I did
That's why
say
you cut
sect.
it. You said
And-
sect because you cut off, and that's where you
Yeah.
froze probably. Because I was like,
Yep.
Yeah, because then
Yep.
I started saying,
here.
then I started backpedaling. Saying, I'm sorry, I'm not. I fumbled my words. I'm not used to doing this. Please forgive me.
Yeah, no. He basically tells you that there's sections of the Ambassadors of Night in every single city. And we all know that they exist, but we can't route them out. So asking that question is A, super vague, and B, not helpful.
I am so sorry. Please forgive me.
All right. I'll put my hand on Fred's shoulder for just a moment. It's okay. Move back up to Carthus. Sir Carthus. What we're doing here, what we're traveling for, is at the most a little bit of a private matter, per se. We are looking, yes, for Virgil Kessington, but we are also looking for more than just him. I'm going to hold my hand out to him, armor and all, for him to take for a moment, if he does not mind.
He
I'm
takes
not
your hand
perfect.
with a cautious look. However, His squire has his hand on his weapon, and there's a
It's fine.
couple of his own knights that are also in the room with their hands on their weapons.
I don't care. I'm 6'9". How tall is everyone here?
Karthus is 6'8".
Perfect.
he's
That's fine. I'm still
standing.
looking down on him. That's all I want.
Not by much!
Not by much, but it's still there. So basically taking his hand in mine, but I also take my other hand and put it on top of his. We've been sent because we are clearing a path. What are his guards and his squire? Like, what race?
They are all ranger elves.
Perfect. Anybody else in the room besides these colors? And our
No.
party. Perfect.
No, it is just those in black and silver. Anybody who was in red and gold is out doing their duties for the day.
Perfect. I'm switching from common, still going to Elven. Just because I don't know everybody speaks Elven, and I apologize for, like, at that point outwardly
Poor
cutting.
Monarch.
Poor Monarch. I apologize, Monarch. I don't know. I'll switch with Elven. I'm so sorry. We have been sent, 1, to find who we're looking for, but 2, because we need to clear a path. There seems
So
to be
you're a
something.
vanguard.
There seems to be something that's bothering you here. Can we help in a way where you help us in return?
That could be amenable to me.
Does he need a
Tell me who
persuasion check?
exactly you're looking for.
What's the prince's name again? I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh
Sorry.
god.
I'm a
Nope,
fool.
that's okay. I can't remember what name I gave you. Hold on.
Steve Rogers.
It was not that.
The fan.
It was Crown Prince Luvon. Luvon.
Yeah.
Luvon Fenmare.
We are looking for the crown prince. He has been kidnapped,
would
and
you-
there is suspicion.
King Anderson.
I just kind of give like a tilt to my head that like to
He
the side.
shoves to his feet, takes his hand back from you, and starts to pace. And you can tell he is furious. And he is muttering in Elvish, which everybody but Monric can understand. Something along the lines of, that fucking rat bastard should burn him where he fucking stands. He's one of those fucking Tandrak. He'll go up like fucking Tinder, and he's just going on. He stops,
I go to
looks at
Fred and I'm
Fred,
like,
apologizes to her, and continues. And then he stops. He whirls back around and says in common, because he doesn't know if anybody else in the party understands what he's saying. You're here as a vanguard. How big of a force is coming after you?
Larger than us.
tenfold,
Really?
20-fold?
I never would have guessed that it was a party larger than yours. Fucking
Enough to
people!
overwhelm this city. if we need be.
Simply because Orion pays way too much attention to things. Roughly how many people would Orion guesstimate is following us?
Okay, so when I figured this out, I actually have all of the numbers figured out.
Okay. I wouldn't
Per
have the
knight
exact
lieutenant?
total, but
No. Per knight lieutenant, there is approximately 700 people. Per knight lieutenant. And there are 7 of them coming. There is 4,700 people coming for their crown prince.
okay.
Approximately.
Sure.
There's a little bit more than that because Dame Kessington is bringing her forces and her husband's forces with her. So she has 1,400 people alone under her command because she has both of theirs.
Okay. Orion will flip through their book a little bit till we get back to that area of knowledge. At least by my observations, around 5,000 people.
Karthus freezes for a minute. I'm sorry, did you say 5,000?
I believe there were 7 knight lieutenants who were very mad
They're
at the
bringing
situation.
the entire East Guard.
I'm not too familiar with those
That's the
terms,
entirety
but
of the East Guard.
it's a lot of people.
I wish we were divided that way. It makes everything a lot easier. That in Farah, they are separated into the North Guard, the East Guard, and the West Guard. And each of them has a knight commander that they report to.
Indeed.
We are not done that way. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
We were not told to cause trouble along the way. We mean the places we travel through as little harm as possible. We're simply to clear the path, so if there's a way that we can help each other to make that amenable, I think that would do well for everyone.
Oh yes, there is something you can do for me, and I will gladly open the gates to the army that comes after you.
And what would you ask of us?
Oh, you need to kill Jarvan. And with that little tidbit dropped upon the party, we are going to take a quick 10-minute break because I need to A, use the bathroom, and B, get myself a drink. We will be back at 9 o'clock, so top of the hour for anybody not in the same time zone as me. And we will continue on with that. We'll see you guys in a bit. Stick around. know what? I got music playing in my background while I'm running this, and it is rather appropriate that we're on Du Hast by, oh god, hold on. By Ramstein?
Rammstein.
Whatever.
Ramstein? Whatever, however you pronounce that. Very fitting, considering the fact that Karthus just dropped, I want you to kill Jarvan! And then I will open the gates for your army.
So, were you in our shoes? Would you suggest a course of action for how to accomplish this feat?
Well, getting him away from his knights is usually a good idea. Although, you won't be able to separate him from his squire. She rather likes sticking to him like glue and other disgusting bodily fluids. Just a reminder, it is morally reprehensible for a knight to engage in sexual congress with their squire.
I was unaware
This is the
glue
DM's
was
reminder.
a bodily function.
This is
Brian
a
taking it
DM
literally.
reminder for the way the world works. It is morally reprehensible for a knight to be in sexual congress with their squire.
Oh, yes, and this is Orion taking that statement very literally.
Yep.
And responding with, I was unaware glue was a bodily secretion.
Glue is made of horse hoof.
Well, it's not, but bodily fluids when left can get very
Wait.
sticky like glue.
Is this a new turn of phrase? Is that
No.
what this is? Stick to something like glue?
Karthus looks at Orion like Orion's going a little bit crazy before he turns his attention to Sasha because Sasha seems to be the intelligent one in the party.
Oh no.
Well,
Okay.
Sasha and Monric, because Monric did ask a very intelligent question of how should we go about getting Jarvan, but is no longer going to be answering questions from Orion because he doesn't know how to respond to that.
Orion's just gonna write that in their book as like stick to something like glue question mark. And
The question, Sasha, like I'll turn and be like, I'll explain it later. Don't think too hard on it right now. Please.
and I'll put the book like going from writing in it to putting it down. Is there any way you could aid us in separating him and his squire from the knights? Maybe a letter of summons to an area where it would just be them, or...
No. Follow him. There is a period of time, it varies from day to day, but there will be a period of time where he and the dryad named Juniper disappear off on their own. He says it's for personal training. I don't believe him. I wouldn't
they go
directly
alone.
accuse a knight of inappropriate congress with their squire. But if the shoe fits, don't. He says that and then looks at Orion and just no.
No, I have heard
Ask
that
them
one.
later.
I have heard that one. I don't mean to cause confusion, just some of the turns of phrases these days are foreign to me.
He is big confused, but he is also very tired.
Yeah. I'm just trying to acclimate, if you will.
I don't suppose you would have any idea where they go when they are participating in their congress.
No, I don't. They conduct said congress during the day when I am meditating and or asleep. Because then I can't morally object to it and stop them.
Of course.
For all of Jarvan's blustering, he is a smart man. Be careful. You do not have to do this immediately, although I'm sure the army is not long behind you.
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, I figured. Take your time. Figure out your best course of action. Do not involve me or my people. If I have any hope of maintaining my hold on this city, I am going to need to look blameless.
Of course.
I do have a question in that vein, actually. How does this fall back on us if we remove a knight lieutenant from service?
What do you mean?
We kill him. How are we then viewed? What happens to us?
If you manage to actually kill him, not that I doubt in your prowess, but he did not become a knight lieutenant because it was gifted to him by his father. If you do manage to kill him, well, the town, his men specifically, will not view you kindly, but there are plenty in this town that don't care for him.
So
It'll be a mixed reaction.
So we wouldn't be hunted down, just disapproved of by his men?
It would be within our best interest to leave shortly thereafter.
Yes. Your Tandrak said that your name was Monric, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, sir.
You have the makings of a knight, sir.
I am a squire in training.
Ah.
So I hope to
And
someday.
what knight do you call sir? No,
Sir
let me
Danik.
rephrase that question. Oh, very well. He was just like, I just realized that could be taken so terribly because every knight, unless they're female, should be called sir. And if they're a female knight, they are called dame. And he's just like, that was a dumb question because you could answer, any male knight is referred to as sir.
That's true.
Knight Commander Danik. Well, that is an honor. And good to know.
It is. Hopefully, I will accord him well on this attempt to clear the way.
Okay. Okay, well then,
Slightly off-topic question, if you'll indulge me.
yes.
In the Temple of Demeter here, are there knowledgeable priests?
Yes. Although, depends on what knowledge you're seeking.
I'm not sure yet. It's something I've been kind of looking into personally.
Okay. Yes, the priestesses in the Temple of are very knowledgeable.
Lovely, I appreciate the information. Haven't come across a Temple of Demeter in our travels yet, and it's made this a little harder to look into.
Okay. If there's nothing else.
We've disturbed you for long enough. Thank you for your time.
Yes, Lady Tandrak, whose name is Fred, which confuses the hell out of me.
I am a follower of Aphrodite. Would you allow me to relax your muscles before you go for meditation?
He thinks for a moment and then nods his head.
Fred's going to
And once again apologizes for the shit that he said about King Anderson, because it was clear by the look on your face as soon as he said it that you understood what he had said.
So she's going to give them a massage across the shoulders, back of the neck, and
That takes about 20 minutes for a decent one, but he definitely looks more relaxed heading into his meditation. During that time, you guys are welcome to talk to the other knights in the room, as well as his squire, although he will answer no further questions, instead choosing to wind down and relax with the massage from somebody who is clearly skilled in the ways of Aphrodite.
Actually, I'm going to ask the other knights if they have any insight into the schedule that Jarvik keeps.
So, one of the female knights speaks up and, sorry, I'm just making some quick notes so I know what I've told you and what I haven't. Typically, he'll make the rounds, heading to the market, then the temples, then the docks. We've got a small port. It feeds off of the the river between Arcala and Travercrag. And we use it to transport some of the larger things that need to come in. Should perhaps a temple or municipality building need to be repaired. He'll typically do market, temple, dock. He tends to avoid the justice ward, which is part of the temple ward because that's where you'll find the Temple of Athena, but he tends to avoid it. He said something about not trusting the priests of the acolytes of Athena, which, for the record, modern-wise, are lawyers. Acolytes of Athena are lawyers. The priests and priestesses of Athena are judges. And then, where he goes after that, I couldn't tell you. None of us managed to stay up that long. Especially this close to winter, our night shifts are much longer than their day shifts. And even if we only need 4 hours of meditation, we still need 4 hours in which we're not really doing anything to gain a full benefit. And
Of course.
she kind of glances at, nope, never mind. She doesn't glance at anybody because she doesn't know what anybody is. You all speak Elvish and not a single one of you looks like an elf.
You can tell.
You have a helmet on.
Exactly, that you can
I
tell.
was gonna say, yeah.
Pulls out
All you
like
can see
little
of me is a
elf
little
ear
white hair.
extensions with like tacky stuff on the back and just like
Magnets.
Oh my God.
Little magnets. It looks like just like an earring on your ear, but then they got ear attachments. Make you look like anything.
Fantastic.
True.
God help us if we find an artificer.
Again.
Again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, beyond that, I'm not sure that I could tell you where he goes at any given time. Sometimes it's a bit of a crapshoot. And sometimes he has dealings with others, and he doesn't actually go off on his own with his squire. And even if Sir Carthus won't say it, I will. I'm pretty sure he's fucking her.
I think he implied that.
By the way, is not the first squire he's done that to. There's a reason he's here in Arcala now.
Hmm.
Well, we do have some time to gather
I'm sorry.
information.
Are you implying that Arcala is a punishment post for him?
I don't know if it's really a punishment. And then at this point, like, she kind of gets stopped in speaking as another knight speaks up. This one is, you're not sure on the gender of this particular knight. Sorry, I'm making notes as I do this. This isn't a punishment for him. This is a reward and a cover-up. After all, how do you think the king got back to town so fast?
Hmm.
But he takes a new squire in every city and then winds up having to leave under rather quick circumstances. After the squire has become a knight. And he has a rather peculiar preference for those of the non-human persuasion.
Hmm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Well, there is if it's your squire and they're looking to you for guidance and you're abusing your power. And then the knights kind of dissolve into an argument about it that yes, it's not great, but also Jarvan's squires are all technically adults and they're not teenagers and they're of legal age. But nobody likes him and they don't agree that he should be doing it, but it's kind of just this whole moral thing on consent and the abuse of power.
Red will kind of look up and say, she has a choice, right?
Oh, they all have choices.
She's not being coerced or forced, correct?
Technically, no.
We need to get her away from him.
Do we think she would help us?
Oh,
Probably not.
Depends
You
if
know
it's a
how his-
choice or if it's a choice.
You guys remember, and I say you guys, but I know that Kitchen wasn't here for that episode, but the soldier that was talking Sasha's ear off was one of Jarvan's, and he was very big on the Kool-Aid train, as it were.
Okie doke.
And from what you're hearing about Juniper, you're pretty sure she has drank so deeply of this Kool-Aid, you're not gonna get her out. But you're welcome to try, and I encourage you to do so.
What does your
Sure.
keychain say?
Which one? You
You're
got
welcome.
me so many keychains for Christmas this year. I'm sorry, Zara, you looked like you wanted to say something as soon as I said she's drank really deep of the Kool-Aid.
No, I'm just dying over here. It's all good.
Well, if we've got all the information we need, maybe we should head back to the inn. I think sitting there, we could listen this evening and see what we can see what they say. There was more, I think, more soldiers there from Sir Jarvan than Sir Carthus.
Well, we're going to need to start following him around the city. And that's going to be difficult to do without giving something away.
Mm.
I will reach into my sleeve and produce Taito, the owl. We don't exactly have to follow him close to keep an eye on him. As long as I'm somewhere safe, I can look through their eyes.
That is so cool.
Well, that will be helpful.
At least that would give us a little bit more information before we personally start to follow them. I know I'm not very sneaky, I think you'd call it. Heavy feet.
I don't think any of us are particularly sneaky.
I am not one with the sneakiness, sir.
So,
Is that just active all the time, Zara?
Hold on.
Okay.
When meeting high up people of power, I would probably automatically do such a thing.
Sure. This room smells incredibly nice. And
okay.
yeah, nothing in this room is triggering that.
Excellent.
Despite his looks and despite the fact that he is a little bit on the taciturn side and he's a bit gruff, Sir Carthus is a good man.
Excellent.
I'm suddenly very curious.
He's a paladin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know he's a paladin. It's just, information.
Does that have a certain amount of times you can use that before you have to rest?
Yes.
One time plus your charisma. I have the exact same thing, that's why.
Yep, I know.
I couldn't remember if that was paladin or racial.
Nope.
No, that's paladin.
Cool.
That is a paladin thing.
Same hat, same hat.
It's just the Spider-Man meme where you guys are pointing at each other.
You shop here too.
Exactly.
Okay. Party, you have a direction. What's the plan?
Well, if you guys would like to talk with his soldiers and try and gain information, I can attempt to keep an eye on his travels for the day. Before we make any brash moves in town, I would like to request we make a stop, or at least I make a stop, at the Temple of Demeter.
Well, maybe we should split up into 3 groups. Orion and someone can head to the temple district to see if he's there. 2 of us can head to the market, and the other 2 can head to the docks. Just see if we can see where he is, not to engage or anything.
I think I'd like to join Orion, if I could.
I'd
All
be
right.
okay with that.
Thank you.
Fred,
I'll
do you
go
want
to
to head to the docks?
Sure.
to the market it
I
is.
apologize for anybody who just watched my super panicked expression. Because the moment Kitchen was like, I'm gonna go with Orion to the Temple of Demeter, I remembered I have no idea what a temple to Hestia looks like.
Oh boy, we're about to find out.
I kind of had a feeling it'd be like a soup kitchen or something.
I was just like, my brain was just like, Temple of Hestia. Why does that? Oh, right.
I have something I would very much
Well,
like
we're
to
going
ask.
to one of the meter, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The DM probably knows what I'm going to ask about, but yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna start with Kitchen and Orion to make my life easy, because I do know what he's gonna ask about, and I'm sorta kinda prepared for it. So, Kitchen and Orion, you head towards the Temple Ward. And I need you both to give me perception checks, because you are looking for Jarvan while you're on your way.
I am of singular focus. That was a 3 + 2 for 5.
You don't see him, which isn't to say that he's not there. He just doesn't cross your path. The Temple Ward is not a small place. It's a fairly large place. There's a lot of gods in Greek mythology, and they all have a temple, you know, whether it's big or small. Or, you know, got taken over by Jarvan.
I will say along the way, I would have held the owl up in front of me and asked it to seek out Jarvan if he can find them, and to reach out to me if he spots him, and just kind of send him to start doing loops.
Okay. Has Orion ever seen Karthus?
Jarvan?
No, this is important. This is important. Have you seen Jarvan? I said Karthus. I meant Jarvan. Have you seen Jarvan? You.
I have not, but I would have specified the colors of the armor and the sylvan that is apparently stuck to it like glue.
It is a dryad.
Dryad stuck to it like glue. So, ostentatious fella in these colors.
Sure. You get a couple back that are just Jarvan's men and not Jarvan himself. And you're gonna get that for a while as Tito tries and figures out exactly who Jarvan is.
Yeah, as Tito does their thing, I'll kind of like zone out for a second as we're walking, and that's not right, and come back and keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys reach the Temple of Demeter and Persephone. And the Temple of Demeter and Persephone is a large greenhouse.
I like this place.
It is filled with both crops and flowers. And there are priestesses and priests for both, tending one side or the other of the greenhouse. The crops is clearly for Demeter, and the flowers is clearly for Persephone. Kitchen, something you notice, and I'm not even gonna make you make the perception check on this because of your familiarity with different herbs and shit. Many of the plants on Persephone's side are carnivorous.
Oh.
Which you remember, she is also the queen of the underworld because she is married to Hades.
I played that game.
One of the things
All the
you
knowledge.
notice is that sprinkled throughout is a non-carnivorous plant called the Winter Peony. And it is an icy blue, and all of the other plants are leaving it alone.
Kitchen would probably just knowing how Orion is with like writing everything down, he'd probably be like, "Oh, so this plant is this, and this flower, and if these crops over here." He's kind of giving them somewhat of a tour of the greenhouse. Just sharing anything he knows about any of these.
Yeah, and I am soaking up the information.
You both are approached by a priestess of Demeter and a priest of Persephone. The
Well,
priest
hello.
is the one who speaks first. Welcome to the Temple of Persephone and Demeter. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
Well, I happen to be quite quite the chef, and my friend here was asking about some of the crops I use to cook with, and some of the herbs. And I thought I'd show him around and share what I know about them. Also, just to pay respect to Demeter, um, while I'm here.
Your tribute is always welcome. Um, if you are in need of any assistance, my name is Conway. I deal specifically with the flowers and the tribute to Persephone, although you will notice that we have a small variety of peony that has been growing here since Jarvan took over.
And why is that?
We're not 100% sure, but we think it's the way that Hades is still maintaining presence in this town.
Okay, and what was your name to the other priest?
Are you the
For
priestess?
Demeter? Priestess, sorry.
My name is Mare. That is Mair. And I am a priestess of Demeter. We are currently in the process of harvesting some of our more exotic crops, if you would be so keen as to observe.
That'd be a pleasure, thank you.
I certainly wouldn't mind. And if you have some time, or maybe the head priestess here for Demeter, I have some questions to ask, not so out in the open, if possible.
Follow me. I will explain what we're doing as we go, and I will bring you to the head priestess.
That would be lovely, thank you.
As Mira walks, she tells you about how they are harvesting particular herbs and fruits that are particularly exotic that would grow in harsher and warmer climates that they are cultivating here in the greenhouse instead. You notice scattered throughout what seems to be like perpetual heat lamps to keep the greenhouse at a very specific temperature. But she leads you into the back where there seems to be what you might mistake originally as a little storeroom, but it seems to be a doorway that leads instead to the priestess and priest housing.
Mm-hmm.
and she leads you down the hallway. You are now in more of like a stone structure, but it is still warm. Those perpetual heat sconces are filled. And then Mare brings you to a doorway, and on the doorway it does state, Head Priestess so sorry. Head Priestess Caitlin. Kathlynn. Caitlin.
Okay.
And she knocks on the door, informs the priestess that she has two who have questions for her, and then she bows and gestures for you to enter through the door. As you step through this office, it is primarily basically an office, is filled one wall completely with bookshelves. And it seems that each of these books seems to be different years of almanacs that have been put out by the priests or priestesses of Demeter to help farmers be able to grow their crops accordingly. And along another wall is another series of bookshelves with books that are filled. And it looks like it's more of an encyclopedic knowledge of various plants and whatnot, including crops as well as carnivorous plants. It seems to be an extension as well. It'll include flowers and whatnot, but because some flowers are either A, edible, or B, useful in the case of medical purposes, it seems that it's a catch-all, sort of. There is a desk, and behind it sits a woman whose skin is white. Incredibly white, as if there's no blood flow beneath it at all. And you notice there's no windows in this room.
That checks out. Thank you for meeting with us.
What is it that I might do for you today, gentlemen? Is it gentlemen? I don't wish to assume.
Either really works. They is fine, at least for me.
Chef works for me.
Well, then what can I do for you today, chef and my non-binary friend?
It's less words. You can call me Orion. Makes life easier.
I'm not repeating my greeting. What can I do for you today?
I'm just giving it to her if she needs to address me further later in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I was hoping you could impart onto us some knowledge and insight for Demeter.
Well, that is usually my purpose here, besides tending to the gardens along with the others. What questions do you have, Orion?
Is there a reason, to your knowledge, as to what would bring Demeter's ire or wrath to an area?
Well, if we're talking her wrath specifically, it would typically be for farmers who will only plant one type of crop in a field every year. It's extremely bad for the soil, and then the crop rates decline, and then they wind up with droughts and failing crops, and the droughts and failing crops is part and parcel of Demeter exerting her wrath upon the farm. As for her ire, I mean, if they don't learn their lesson within the first couple years, then it's ire first and then wrath later. But ire is typically in a smaller crop than what would normally be expected. Her favor is and prosperousness? That's not a word.
Prosperity?
Prosperity.
Does the lore, well, not the lore, do the words of Demeter ever coincide with the use of a cornucopia? Or the imagery of Demeter?
Typically, although that is an old one. We haven't associated with the cornucopia since things started to get a little bit more modernized. Nowadays, it's a sheaf of wheat.
About how long ago would you say this association changed?
Oh. We've been using this sheaf since I took over as head priestess here, and that was about 400 years ago.
Hold on. I'm going to pull out the puzzle box and shift and maneuver it to open it. And I'm not going to hand it to the priestess, but I will carefully lift out the cornucopia from the box. This is something we found back west that was corrupting heavily an area of farmland.
That's strange. Corrupting it how?
Everything had turned to sludge. Rather corrosive stuff. Found this at the bottom of a well.
And as soon as you removed it from the water source, it cleared up.
And I will tilt the cornucopia slightly so the goop slides down towards the horn. Whatever this item was doing, this ooze seemed to just expand from it until we had removed it from the well.
Interesting. I can't say I've ever heard of something like this. Just a moment. And then she stands up and moves over to the encyclopedic side and just starts looking through a series of books. She's clearly looking for one in specific. And then she hits a blank spot in her encyclopedic area and stops and stares at the blank spot for a second. Well, now that's strange. There should be a book here. Did one of the priestesses take it out without me knowing? That doesn't seem right. They usually tell me when they've taken things so that I know where it is. Have I forgotten? 600 years is a long time to be alive, I suppose. And then she kind of goes back to her desk and she starts rifling through the books that are on her desk, thinking perhaps that it might already be on her desk because she was looking through it for something else, but it's not there.
Orion will mutter under their breath
missing.
that it's a drop in the bucket to the year comment. Whether she hears them or not, that is up to her, but...
Oh, she hears you. She hears you. She kind of glances over her shoulder at you and just chuckles, and she says, yes. Oh, I intend to live for another 600 more.
Well, Who knows? Maybe our paths will cross again when we cross that time.
Perhaps.
Um,
Although I think your other friend might be living just as long as we do. And she glances at Kitchen.
quite possibly.
I've been around for a little bit. I think I'm
Well,
10, as far
oh,
as I remember.
oh, you're fair enough. You're just freshly made then. Well, it seems that the book that might have given me some answers isn't here.
Could you tell us about the book you're
I'll
missing?
keep looking for it.
Like, it seems everything
I
is
wished
kind
I
of
could.
by time here, looking at the dates and the years on your
It's-
shelves.
Yeah, but the biggest problem is the fact that I can't actually remember what the title of the thing is. It's been a while since I've had to pull it off the shelf. I will have my priestesses look for it. If I find it, I will send it. You'll be helpful.
Lovely, I'd appreciate that.
But for now, keep that sludge away from anything. Not sure what it is, not sure what it does, but it can't be anything good.
Well, I have accidentally come into contact with it twice now. Once was on purpose. The first time was on accident.
Did it do anything strange?
I received a very interesting vision the first time, and then a slightly different but very similar one the second. A companion, no, friend? A friend from long ago, but they were of different skin than I knew them as. They seemed to be of the children of Poseidon, and that's not how I remember them being. Pardon the old term. I think you call them Tritons now?
Well, for the most part, yes, we call them Tritons, but it honestly depends on well, it depends on what Poseidon was in the mood for that day. Technically, we'd also call mermaids sons or daughters of Poseidon.
Yes, the races have gotten a lot more complicated than they used to be.
Yes. For your information, since you seem to be of the inquisitive nature, you would be called a son of Hephaestus.
At least now I would. I guess within the last year or so.
Last year or so? Really? Fascinating. My race in specific is referred to as a child of Thanatos.
And is there a common term for that aside from the grouping? Or is it just child of Thanatos?
That's we call ourselves vampires.
That's, there's so many gods now. That's one of the ones of death, isn't it?
He is the god of death.
Yes.
You must remember, Hades is not the god of death, he is the god of the dead. The one in charge of their afterlife. Although, predominantly, he is the god of wealth as well. Hence why all of his temples are typically banks.
Orion kind of flips back a handful of pages, scribbles something out, and god of dead, god of death.
Which, for the record, is a very big distinction.
Yes. But this is also Orion trying to learn all of this.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Vampire. You are far more cordial than the last one of your people that we had the displeasure of having to deal with.
Really? What was his name?
I don't have it up in front of me. Boop, boop, boop.
Was it not? And I'm
Count
saying
for
this
them.
out of character. Wasn't it like we kept calling him Duck? Wasn't that him?
Yes.
That's all my brain was
Sazduck.
coming. Sazduck.
Sazduck. There we go.
Yeah. My brain was just hearing the word duck, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's not it. That's close, but it's not.
No, Sazdak.
Sazdak.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, it was Sazdak, but Calix
Sazdak.
is a bastard and said duck.
Well,
And then you guys wondered why he didn't fucking respect you.
you could say he was quacked.
Get out.
But I will look to Caitlin, and the last one of the people, the children of Thanos we came across was one known as Sazdak, and
No, Thanatos. Not Thanos. Thanatos.
I didn't even catch it.
Thanatos was named Sazdak, and they were a bit lost in the mind.
Sazdak. Oh. Oh no, is that what happened to him?
He was quite mad by the time we found him.
He experimented with the undead and undeaf, and despite the fact that we're not actually living, we can still die.
Can confirm.
So he was... I suppose we would call him a necromancer? Or he was attempting to be one, and whatever he was reading drove him a little bit crazy. And his coven would have exiled him. And by exiling him, no other coven would have taken him.
He was acting on his own, it would seem, but he had taken over another temple out west and was corrupting the area heavily in the process. We were asked to help cleanse the area.
What a tragedy. Oh well.
But it has been far more enjoyable chatting with you.
I'm glad.
So we are staying in town for a little bit. You can find or reach out to me if you need to find me at the Morning Blossom Inn.
Oh, you're staying with Jamie. Oh, such a wonderful man.
He seems lovely. You don't
He's
see too
fantastic.
many fairy folk these days. At least I haven't come across any others. They're not as common as they used to be.
No, they've gone into hiding a little bit. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Did something happen?
No, I think it was just their time to pull back from this world. They'll be back. They always are.
Lovely. I hate to take up too much of your time today. It seems you guys are in the middle of quite a harvest.
Well, yes, but we always figure it out. Have one of the priestesses give you a basket of fresh fruit and whatnot.
Oh, I'm sure Kitchen
And
would love that.
Kitchen absolutely perked up with the idea of that.
yes, perhaps some of the more exotic ones that you might not be able to get in the market. And yes, we'll get you sorted out. Well, please feel free to come back and enjoy and ask our priestesses anything to learn more. Since your inquisitive nature is always welcome here.
Before I leave, I'm not going to say this out loud, but I will type it to you real quick, Maddie. I'm going to jot something down in my book and tear out that piece and hand it to Caitlin.
Okay.
While we're being honest,
She appreciates the trust that you have given her and carefully folds that piece of paper and puts it in her pocket. Also, normally we would go to 10:30. However, my voice is failing and I am still a little bit tired from my first workout of the new year, which I had yesterday. So this is actually a really good stopping point. When we come back next week, we're going to start with the group that went to the market.
yeah.
We will be back on February 17th with our next game of A Knight's Ransom. The party needs to figure out what they're going to do with Jarvan and how to handle him. And it'll be interesting to find out what they decide to do. On Friday, do we have another game for Precarious, Otter?
We are nearing the last couple episodes. I believe we only have a couple left. I think 2 or 3.
Amazing. Saturday, we will have another episode of The Stolen Cities. Monday, we're back with Sunday, we're back with another episode of Varenheim. Monday, I believe you guys are back with the Troubleshooters, or are you guys still on break?
We are on season break, probably towards the end of the month, beginning of March.
Okay. Tuesday will be another episode of the new Star Wars campaign, The Remnant Shadow. And Wednesday, our very own JT will be there with False Skull Knights. And I say very own because I saw him in the chat earlier tonight, and he was chilling in the watching live stream channel here on Discord. If you would like to join us on Discord and get all the updates, the link to our Discord is below in our banner area.
Yep, the About section.
Below the stream. That's the one. And of course, our sponsor, D&D Beyond, that is D, the letter N, dbeyond.com. A wonderful repository of everything 5e. We are in the middle of a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, so please remember to wash your hands, wear your mask, social distance if you can, be kind to one another because shit's rough enough as it is, and remember, roar for initiative. Have a good night, everybody.